25 years ago, the Dayton Peace Agreement brought an end to the horrible war in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, and created a new country, Bosnia-Herzegovina, consisting out of two entities, the Republika Srpska of the Serb entity and the Federation of the Bosniaks and the Croats. Still, in this country, ethnic divisions and ethnic criteria play a big role, a too big role, because many issues the country has, like many others, of course, like the environmental issue, the social issue, the employment questions, are far from being solved. The younger generation thinks differently. The younger generation thinks about these issues, which are important for their life, and which should be solved or nearly solved in order to create new opportunities for the young people also to stay in the country. We asked several of these young people to give their opinion. We asked people in Bosnia-Herzegovina, but also in Vienna, coming from the country, what their issues is, what their ideas and opinions for the future is. And we will also have in the coming weeks some 2 panel discussions in order to discuss the future of the country, because the future of Bosnia-Herzegovina is very important also for the future of the whole Western Balkan.
My name is Tihomir Dakic. I'm working in Banja Luka in one environmental organization called Center for Environment. It will be now almost 15 years. We are working on a whole region of Bosnia-Herzegovina, in and Republika Srpska, but also in Federation Bosnia-Herzegovina and District Brčko if it's needed. I'm coordinator program transport within our organization, also part of the steering board of our NGO from 1999, and primarily work is of different, let's say, programs is focusing on environmental protection. We have 4 active programs. One program is energy, climate change, biodiversity, and protected areas. We have also transport and urban mobility, and we have different aspects that we work within those programs, and types of work that we actually use is actually through campaigns and advocacy, and also project that we apply and we work on, which is mainly the project activities. But we are focusing much more our effort that we have, how to say, more of program activities and changing the policies and so on. So working in this previous 15 years or being activist and volunteer first in 2001, 2002, when I started to be involved in work of civil society organization, is that we from the very beginning thought that it's enough to raise public awareness and to work on changing people's habits. The name of our organization was Young Researchers of Banja Luka. Later on, while we were getting more mature, let's say like that, we changed our name in Center for Environment, and one of the very important focus of our work is actually environment protection, because we found out that it's not enough to work on education of citizens and young people, because let's say the results could come in a 15-20 years, while actually all around started the devastation of our natural resources, rivers, forests, soil in general. Strategies were not focusing on sustainable and responsible handling our resources, but more rather from the political elite and financial elite in Bosnia-Herzegovina. It's rather to use as soon as possible and to abuse as soon as possible. So basically, throughout those years, our primarily work, and my primarily work, is actually changing into be a stronger voice against negative political decisions made made in Bosnia and Herzegovina that actually lead to nature destruction, and it's putting in question our future life as citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina in years to come. Mobility and transport issues in Bosnia and Herzegovina, or working on a local level on urban mobility and topics such as promotion of the not motorized traffic and developing prerequisite for developing this kind of traffic to reduce CO2 emissions, to reduce air pollution, to reduce noise pollution, to have more livable city. It's going really slow. One of the things is that we start to work on this topic in 2002, but let's say actively we start to work in 2005. One of the very interesting things is that no matter how much our representatives of the cities and towns are traveling around and they've been invited by different kind of cities and international community and foreigners and EU delegation and whatsoever, we found out that they don't bring anything to our cities and towns. They don't learn anything. They don't want to interfere and to change people's habits in our cities. It's more or less they're keeping business as usual, because this is how, if you influence on people's habits, it may result that you will not get votes or enough votes for next elections. And this is all about those politicians that we are, pulling them through all those years, or they're existing since 1990s. Actually, they want to remain on political positions, because I believe that they don't know anything else to do. So basically, through different kind of actions, guerrilla actions, we are trying, but also through cooperation with the city, the movements, advancing is very slow. And it's 2020. I can take this example of COVID year. And in the very beginning, we were very active in March and April. We were seeing all those precautions and measures that were cities and countries were adopting, that walking and cycling remain one of the very most healthier way of mobility of people. So public transport has disappeared. People didn't use that much car. Then some cities start to change their faces, and they were actually changing a lot of spaces that was allocated for motorized traffic into new bike lanes, pop-up bike lanes, and new walking zones. While we were all those things we were writing and requesting from our local community and also our entity ministries and state ministries to do something. Through all those, now it will be 7-8 months that it's happening, and we have this situation, and nothing especially happened. And this is very awkward, because on the other side, I also don't see any kind of informational pressure by the international community in Bosnia and Herzegovina. More, it's they are always happy to see that some politicians is talking about some topics, and this is enough for international community. Later on, I will explain more about this, why it's important involvement of international community if they are financing some of the activities, and then it's very important for them to comment, at least, not criticize. We will do that, but at least to comment in which direction Bosnia and Herzegovina cities are going. So basically, we do this cycling promotion. We organize critical masses in the last 3 years, but since 2002, we have during World Car Free Day, we have bicycle rallies, bicycle rides, several hundred people, in the same place, going around, trying also to change people's habits. And it's happened that since March, we have we slightly see by not by the statistic, we see it by the eye that we have more and more people on bicycles. But what was lacking is actually response from the local community, and this is not only in Banja Luka. This is in most of the cities in Bosnia and Herzegovina.